everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited because this is a round table that I feel like has been years in the making, and this amazing round table is talking about console players because in my personal opinion, I feel like EA has forgotten about you in the last 5 years, and I feel like they should forget you no more. So I want to hear your thoughts about what it's like to be a console player. So I couldn't have asked for two of the best console players to come and join me today. So I have Sassmouth and TattooedSimmer. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for coming. Welcome back, Sassmouth. I think now you're on the 5-timers club. Like, I'm pretty confident with that. You're like, it's you and Faye and Rory that have become like my top coming back people. So thank you so much for coming back. And TattooedSimmer, thank you so much for coming here today and just welcoming to the Stassi Unplugged universe. So why don't we start off for anyone who's listening, because I now have a lot more new listeners who have not seen or heard of your amazing work. So Sassmouth, you go first.
Okay. Hey, everybody. So I am SassmouthSimmer. I am on Instagram. I'm a storyteller. So y'all can check me out, SassmouthSimmer on Instagram. I also have a second account, Sassmouth Origin. And so it's two different stories, but they're going to collide, and both are interesting. One's a origin, and so it takes place at the very beginning. And then my main account story is actually it's the Not So Very Challenge Sci-Fi edition, and it's interesting and crazy and a good time and always a crazy read. So definitely come see me, and I play on console, so PS4, so representing that.
I love it, Sassmouth. TattooedSim, how about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so actually when I started Instagram, I started my Instagram during COVID, just tried to get more into other people in the community, learn from other people in the community. And my name was a little different when I started. My name used to be Baking Bad Builds. I wanted to start a YouTube channel because that's my PlayStation name, so I just kind of like built off that. But I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and somebody already had the name Baking Bad, and they have like 1 million followers. So that's the first thing that you type in. I didn't want to be behind a bunch of stuff. So I changed my Instagram name to TattooedSimmer because that's also like one of my favorite. You can't see any now. I have like 8 or 9 of them. So I changed my name, and I think that really helped a little bit for me. I've gotten a lot more followers recently, but I've always been a console simmer, a console gamer. I played on PC a little bit, but ended up going back to console. And I personally love it. I can sit in my living room on the couch and I can stare at like a 65-inch screen instead of, however big a computer screen is, which is fun. And so I really enjoy it. I really enjoy making houses that I grew up looking at. And so I grew up in the middle of the United States, in Kansas. So I grew up around a lot of farmhouses, a lot of old brick houses, things like that. So usually that's kind of what I build. I branch out sometimes and build some modern stuff, but not very often. Here comes my son. Oh. But
so first kiddo to ever come on.
So so I don't get a lot of time. I get as much time as I do, but he likes to help sometimes.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh. Well, TattooedSimmer, thank you so much for sharing that. And your son is so precious. For anyone who's listening to the podcast and can't see, her amazing little son just showed up and he's so cute. Oh my gosh. That is a first. I usually get pets come through, but never little kiddos. Oh. So cute. Well, TattooedSimmer, again, thank you so much for sharing. See, what I like here is I have two different aspects of console players. I have a storyteller and I have a builder. So, Tattoo Simmer, I want to start with you. Talk to me of when you're starting a build, um, from beginning to end.
Um, I do it differently too. Hold on, sorry.
That's okay.
Come here, buddy. All right, say bye, dude. Okay. Yeah, so usually, like, I'll start things different ways. I love real to Sims builds. Those are super fun. So sometimes if I see like a house around town that inspires me, or like something on Pinterest, or whatever, two of my, like, I think main accounts probably that I do real to Sims builds from are For the Love of Old Homes. They have an Instagram and a Facebook page, and then My Log Cabins, they have like an Instagram and a Facebook page, and so I follow them and I get a lot of inspiration from their stuff. Or I'll just start like building a random box and go from there. Like, I'll kind of have an idea based on like what world I'm in, what I want the house to look like, or something like that. Or I'll just have an idea for a different community lot, and so I'll do that. I've actually started doing some build series. So the one that I have going right now is the Builds Through the Decades series. So I found an article of popular styles of American homes from like the 1900s until today. So I started with that, like old Victorian home, big colonial style homes. And so now I'm in like the 90s, which is those big like McMansion homes with the crazy roofs and all of that. So that's been really fun to like, I've been doing like that. It'll be 12 parts. And so I'm going to like continue that going forward. So I try and post every day on Instagram, but I'll post like little things in between the houses in the series, just like break it up. But that's been a super fun thing that I've started. So the Builds Through the Decade series is like on now. That's like the hashtag for it if you want to go look through all of those pictures. And then I'm starting a really cool one after that one is done. That's going to be a sim tunes like save file. So I'm taking all of Willow Creek and I'm going to redo cartoon houses that I like.
Okay.
So I've already got like 4 or 5 from like major cartoons that we all know that are done. And then I have like a couple other ideas for other ones after that. So that's like a fun new thing I've started doing. But
oh my gosh, again, that's amazing. It just blows my mind that you're able to do it like all this on console. I got a couple more questions. Sassmouth had to pop out, but she's gonna pop back in. Okay, so talk to me about doing like a save world. Could you do like a save world collab then on console? Because I'm assuming you would just have to have everybody upload their builds to the gallery and bring it down. Correct?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know how to do save files, like how to upload them fully onto like a tray file like they do for PC. Like, I don't think that's possible
Yeah.
for console players. But what I've done in the past, when I redo an entire world and I like share it, I will take photos of like the world view and then have the titles of the builds over like where they are in the world, so that you can go to my gallery and download them and place them where I have them or where I had them built. So it takes more time, which is unfortunate, but yeah, that's I asked my husband how mad he would be if I bought all the packs again on PC just so I could like re-download. Like I don't really have a desire to learn how to play on PC anymore, just because I kind of feel like I'm in my own like niche market now.
Yeah.
Being a console player, and I like it. I enjoy playing it on console. So, but I want to be able to share tray files with people, and I can't. So, like I have a computer and I could, download that, but I only have like Get to Work or something like that with
Okay.
the base game on my computer, so I couldn't. It wouldn't. A lot of stuff would be missing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's kind of like unfortunate. Like I've done collabs with people, and that's what I have to do. Is I tell them when I'm gonna upload my build, and then they'll go download it to their page, and then I'll delete it, and then they'll upload the whole tray file later. But I haven't been able to host my own collab just because um, if I'm going to redo a whole world and like send it out to people, then I want to be able to do it right. I would probably have to like coordinate with a PC player so that they could download all the files and then send out the tray file for people. But
Okay.
yeah.
That's crazy. And like I said before we started this, I had no idea that you were not a PC player because I saw your builds in the builders competition. As being a judge, I would see them every week. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, your builds were so phenomenal. And then when I put the ad out for console players, your name kept getting re-popped up and popped up, like, oh, you should talk to them. They do a really good job. And my brain was like, what? They're a console player? Fucking blew my mind. I think that's something that I want to see more of, is that you can do basically everything on console that you can
Yeah.
do in a PC minus the CC. Now, this is going to sound like a really dumb question, but I just have to ask because I mean, I'm curious. You can't do any like reshade, G shade, anything stuff like that, right? So no, so you have to take the photo out and bring it to a photo editing
Yeah.
program. Could be anything that you use. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, because it's like I'm pretty sure you can't download G shades to your TV, because if I
Yeah,
could,
No.
I would, because I'll make my TV a little bit better.
Yeah,
But
no, you
yeah.
can't. And you can't do that. So for a while in the beginning, I would just edit my photos on so how I get them off of my PlayStation is just like the PlayStation app. I'm sure Xbox has the same thing. Um but it's just like a PlayStation app on your phone. Like you could go on it and like talk to your friends in a chat room or
Mhm.
or whatever. But you can take your captures or your screenshots and download them straight to your phone um from the PlayStation app. So I'll do that and like always like it's like little tricks that I've learned over a lot of console players don't realize that they also have like the first person view. And if you don't take screenshots in that first person view, it kind of looks weird because it's the angle you have to look at
Mhm.
from build mode, and then it's got that square
Yep.
around the lot. So yeah, I always just like whenever I'm done building, I'll like move a sim into the house, um, and then go into first person mode so I can see the house that way. And then I'll download the photos, and I use PixArt.
Okay.
Um, and I pay for the pro version of it, but it's only like $20 for the year, so it's not. Yeah, it's not anything crazy, and so they have a lot of pre-shades already on there. So like
Mhm.
there's like effects. So like there's a few that have like warmer tones you can use for fall or like cooler ones for winter. So they have a lot you can choose from and you can adjust them, and then you can remove the background of photos on the app. Like you can do all of those things. So that's what I use to edit all my photos with before I put them on Instagram. But before I found that, it was kind of hard to be a part of, like not really be a part of collabs, but I didn't
Mhm.
know how to put, like people would give me like collab stickers or like stickers
Mhm.
for whatever. I didn't know how to put that on photos or like put my name on the bottom of it. But then when I started looking at different ways to do that, and I downloaded a bunch of apps and used like my free trials for him, and that was just the one that I kind of settled on. But yeah, I think it's like helped me. It's helped make my photos look a lot better on Instagram for sure, I think. But yeah, I wish I had a bigger reach to help people understand that you can, with like the little tips and tricks, do everything that PC players can do, you know, aside from custom content and Tool. Like, that's, if I knew how to rotate things with Tool or do that, like that might be the only one I wish that I had. But at the same time, I kind of feel like that makes it so much more detailed that I would just I would spend way too much time on it. Like, there's a fine line, and I don't know if I need that.
Well, TattooedSimmer, thank you so much for sharing everything. Sassmouth, talk to me, girl. Welcome back.
Thanks. I'm sorry, y'all, but like I glitched in and out of. I'm on my way to Florida, and I thought I would just take everybody with me, but sometimes I go through no man's land, so if I blip in and out occasionally, sorry.
That's okay. Again, I just appreciate you're literally on a road trip. I woke up 35 minutes ago. So Sassa, amazing storyteller. We've talked in great lengths about what it's like to be a storyteller playing console. It's been a year now, since our first podcast. So talk to me from a year's worth of knowledge. What have you learned in the last year from being a storytell console player?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Let's see. It's probably how now I play my game and set up my story. I've changed it a little bit. Before I would play gameplay, and then whatever happened, and then I wrote my story to it. So now I still do that, like majority of that's what I do, but I also now have a bit more direction. It's like if I write out or know a scene that I want to do, I'll take and actually build it out. And so like lean on what I see on TattooedSimmer. Like sneak peek and seeing those console builds is like inspiring, because I'll like build out a scene and then kind of conduct a write to that now, which I guess is in a way how a lot of PCers probably do it, setting up a story. But at the same time, if some chaos happens during that gameplay of setting up that scene, I still do what I do when I originally started, is capture that and write to that chaos. So I'm still doing much the same, but doing things also a little bit differently at the same time. I have changed like my editing style, of course. I'm how to capture those screenshots. Also, I've learned so many hacks and tips on and how to really use my controller to, manipulate camera angles and views and get those really tight shots and angles and expressions, and also knowing the prompts in game of what expression that creates, a certain look that I want for a story. Being able to manipulate that and capture that so I can get the right screens for the right tone for my story. So I do a lot more planning now than I did when I first start out, which the perfectionist in me like loves. But also it's still sometimes a struggle, but that's kind of what I've done differently over the course of the year. I've been learning. And then I've like in the past week started dabbling on PC a little bit just to see what the difference is, and I hate it.
That's not what
I love consoles so much. I know, unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably gonna get reached for saying that, but it's gross. I feel like a fish out of water, and I'm sure probably as I learn, a little bit more, maybe, I don't know. I know that all my cheats that I do, like on with my controller, like my hacks and my cheats, and it's become so second nature and fluid that like when like I was dabbling on the PC and I'm like, oh, I don't know the cheat. I don't know the thing to get the camera angle to get that view on that. It's a struggle and I hate it. And yeah, it's unpopular opinion, but I love console gameplay so much more. It's so easy and I don't have to stress about mods or breaks or glitches or whatever. Well, I mean, I can't say I love my console gameplay, but that's kind of been my journey, having a year under my belt.
Well, thank you, Sassa, for sharing that. So, yeah, okay, I gotta ask you this because storyteller. We're gonna agree to disagree when it comes to PC storytelling, because so now I have poses for every emotion. I have poses standing happy, poses standing angry, side head, this head, sitting. I can't, and what's the best is their animations. So I just like put them on, and then every time I repress play after taking a screenshot, it just takes the next emotion, which saves me so much time. But what emotion, like what commands or emotions or do you use for different, like happy? Because before I played with poses, if I wanted my characters to have the angry face, I got them to show out forbidden words, and they'd be like, bleh. And like I would, as soon as like it would go down to like normal, that is when I would try to take the photo. But that is a lot of patience, because if you don't take the screenshot that exact second, it goes back to normal. So what tips and tricks have you learned then? Because you said that you picked some up. So what ones have you learned?
Okay, say like since we're speaking on like say an angry or upset or really expressive face.
Yeah.
So I've learned that say I click on tell engaging story.
Okay.
And I've got my controller and I'm ready to hit pause, because that's the thing. A lot of the times when I'm looking for these expressions, I select the certain prompt that I know, like, because I mean, after a while, like what kind of conversational pose, if you've been playing Sims long enough, you know the face that they're going to make, like when you do a certain prompt, like for tell an engaging story or a flirt or something like that. So I've figured out like what expressions they usually make for each prompt. So say tell engaging story. So typically when they're telling engaging story, they're like make really expressive faces and hand gestures and all of those things. And so I'll click on that, and then I will literally like just sit there and like pause play. As soon as it hits the right expression that I want, then I take my screenshot and then I play it again. And so I'm literally sitting there watching it like a hawk, and just like a lot of pausing the game and getting those screens that I want for the story that I have in mind, or the tone of the part of the chapter that I want, that I have in mind, and I capture those screens for that. So it is a lot of keeping an eye on your game and really paying attention through that gameplay based on the prompt. Of course, sometimes like a townie will come in and interrupt the scene or whatever, or just some random conversational moment, or like they'll cancel the prompt that I gave them and do something else, which sometimes is like a blessing in disguise. So it creates something even better than I had expected. And I'm like, yes, thank you, game AI. That's the best ever. And so I'll capture that and include that in. But that's one of my tips and tricks that I have to do that, so to speak.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Again, I fucking blows my mind. I can't live without poses. I my fiance be like, what are you doing? I'm like, downloading poses, need this pose to do this scene. But like like Sassmouth, like I said to you the first time I ever read your story, I had no idea it was console. I think that's literally what PC players are. We're like, oh, everything's PC, and then you remove the curtain, you're like, how is that console? Now we talked a little bit before we started about button pressing, and like, because obviously that I again my brain didn't. I'm gonna say, hear me honest with you, because this is just how blondes work. I just assumed you hooked up a keyboard to your computer and you had a keyboard and
Some do.
some do. Okay, so I said that, I'm like, that's how they must play console, because that's the only way it would make sense. Now you said buttons. What is the best button trick that you have learned? And I'll start with TattooedSimmer.
Um, I guess the most recent one I didn't think I could do on console was, you know how you can slide one side of a roof piece so that it doesn't glitch out? Okay, so like you have to press two buttons at the same time to get it to do that. And like I thought you like on the console you had to raise and lower both sides of the of the roof pieces at the same time. Um, but you just have to press two buttons at the same time, release one, and then it'll work right. So there's just, I don't know, like Carl Sims Guide also has like a list of the controls. And so you just kind of have to look at those and know what the buttons are. Like I know because I've been playing PlayStation for like my whole life. I know where X is, I know where A is, I know where B is, I know where, so I can look at a piece of paper and push the buttons that it tells me. It's not as easy for some people. And like you said, some people do still play with a keyboard and mouse, but I don't want to sit that close to my TV because it's too big. So I just can't I can't play like that. But I like it in my hands like closer. Like that was my biggest issue when I tried to go back and play on the PC was like I felt like I had to move around the keyboard too much.
Okay.
Like my hands were going everywhere. I had to press too many buttons. There wasn't like because I mean a controller has like 4, 8, 12, like 16 buttons. That's it. Um, so you just have to like you just have to get used to those like 16 buttons and what they do versus like this key does this letter key does this, you have to press a combination of things to do that. So that's kind of what made me, and I'm the same as Sassmouth, like I tried to play on PC and I hated it. Like I didn't know any of the hacks I used to know. I didn't know how to manipulate the keyboard to see all the things that I wanted to see. So I just like I tried it, and then I tried it because I wanted to use mods. Like I wanted, um I'm not a storyteller or game player per se. Like I've just never been a writer. Uh I'm a terrible writer to begin with. So that's just that's just why I've never been into gameplay, because I'll like come up with a story in my head, and then once I get past what was in my head originally, then I'm bored and I can't and I can't like think past that. Whereas like building, like that's always been how my brain works, like more mechanically. Like I like to build stuff in real life too. So that's kind of why I'm more a builder than a storyteller. But yeah, like just having all the buttons close on my hands is why I prefer to play on console. But some people definitely do still use the keyboard and mouse for sure. But
There we go. Again, I just sat there. I was like, okay, so X, up,
yeah.
down. Fuck. What was it? I would be like, you went. It'd be like you went too slow. Try again. I'll be like, okay, X, up. We have to be like, it's down. I was like, fuck. Okay, X. Like I think.
Yeah, I mean, and it's pretty simple. Like so you have like you put a roof piece on,
Yeah.
and it has the same buttons, to drag it or whatever, and you just click on it. Like you just move the joysticks over to it, and then use, the main button you use to click on it, and then you use the joysticks to drag it. So the joysticks are just like moving a mouse across the table. That's like really all they are. And then the buttons are just more condensed. than what they are on the keyboard. That's kind of like the simplest way to put it, I guess. But you, I think PC people think that it's harder than it is. And that's kind of why I want to start a YouTube channel. If I had, so you can see, because I have a camera, and like I have a Twitch set up. Like I said, just with my son, I don't have a lot of time. And I have a real job too, so I have to be there like 45 hours a week. And so yeah, I really want to get on Twitch more, so that people can see me sitting there and like ask questions if they have questions about what button to press or how I do things. So hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to do that more. I think I'm kind of just more scared of getting on Twitch and putting out there, but now that I have like a bigger Instagram following, I can put it out there that I'm like doing that now. Maybe I'll have people that'll come over and watch, hopefully. So
no, I would totally go and watch because like I'm gonna state the record, and this is not one you can take back. I'm always gonna be a PC player because like that's what I have, right? But I would totally watch videos on how console players do everything. I think that would be fantastic to just learn how to do it, because like we have an Xbox, like, but it's my fiance's. I don't really play it. But we do have the Sims in the Gold Pass, and I have looked at it. And my friend's like, "Are you ever gonna play console?" And I was like, "No." But like my really good friend, like not like a real life friend, she plays console, and she's like, "Oh my god, like you're a Simstagrammer? Oh my god, you have a Sims podcast?" Well, I play Sims on console, and I was like, "Janet, what?" I'm sorry, what? And she's like, "Yeah, I play on console and I love it." And she's like, "I just bought like whatever the new pack had just come out that week." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So she showed me how she played. I had a couple drinks in and I was just like, "Yeah, how do you do that?" Because like I can have a whiskey neat here, and because now I can do this blindfolded and I know all my keys, but I feel like that's the same way when you're a console player.
Yeah, it definitely is, for sure.
Okay, Sassmouth, how about you? Any tips and tricks that you want to tell the console world or anybody who wants to start playing console?
Yeah. So as far as like the controller part, I totally understand. I can relate a lot. TattooedSimmer covered like a lot of it, and also having that close interaction with the controller. But the main tip would probably be learn your controller, because obviously on the screen you can pull up your menu and see on like your controller functionality. And so learn, if you're new to console, learn that functionality, because it's gonna be a lifesaver once you have learned your controller so well, and it becomes almost a sense of second nature, so that when you're maneuvering in the game, it's effortless, and especially more effortless than say on a keyboard. Like TattooedSimmer was saying, you just feel kind of spread out, like just it's almost like discombobulating in a way, because it's just with the controller, like everything's there and encapsulated. But as far as like a hat, I like got off on a tangent there, but as far as like a hat, to me, like I really love my L1, L2, R1, R2 prompt commands, like especially, and I know TattooedSimmer can probably like nod to this, like in build mode, like that free enable movement. When I first started, and I think it was on my like very first interview with you, like I couldn't figure out like how to freely move things, and so I finally figured out how to freely move things, and that was a game changer for one. And so that's really huge. A lot of those L1, L2, R1, R2 commands in gameplay is really essential. Also, the use of the free enable cam, where you can just zoom all around. It's actually I've noticed in PC, y'all's camera is super limited on the angles and the views that you can get. In console. It's completely different. It's basically like driving a car or a drone. You can literally zoom and fly any which way, any different angle, super close, like even beyond like the pixels, like it'll blank out all. You'll see his teeth and eyeballs if you zoom in on the sim too close. But you can just there's much storytelling. Those camera functionality is really, it's a game changer. But also for storytelling purposes, like if you I say that the cheats, once you learn the cheats, the game cheats, and learning on your controller, like how to do your cheats and your testing cheats and entering those in. And this is where it's kind of a pain because you don't have a keyboard, and you could plug one up to type in your cheats if you wanted to. And I did do that starting out, but I found that cumbersome, and I finally learned the cheats second nature. So now I just type those in.
Yeah, you can actually,
cheats,
I don't know if they do it on the place. I don't remember if they do it on 4, but I know on the PlayStation 5, like to put BB move objects in, you have to hold all of the triggers down, and you just if I type BB dot, it'll finish move objects, so I don't have to retype it every time.
Same. Yeah,
I don't have to type it all in.
Right, exactly.
I just type in BB and it remembers move objects, and I just click that, and then it'll do it over again. So all my cheats are like pre-saved, so I don't have to type it every time. I just open the menu and click on it, and then it'll like pull it all up. Yeah,
exactly. So it's the same for me too. Like I've used them so much that it's saved in my database. All I'll have to do is BB, and it'll pull up like move objects or hidden, the hidden objects or live edit, or unlock gameplay, entitlement. But just knowing all those cheats, especially when you're a storyteller and you want to use kind of mods or those, in a way, those cheats are your mods. Unless you really, really want to play super vanilla and don't do cheats, then it might be a lot more challenging, so to speak. But for me, like, having cheats is everything. Now, for my not so berry, I actually don't use cheats on my air, so I actually do the whole struggle of going through that whole process. But for building and then my other characters that's not challenge related, using those cheats is everything. It's your mods. So that's kind of my hack. And also just learning how to get good screenshots, because I think that's the struggle for every console player, especially if you want to publish on social, is getting those really good screenshots, finding your edit program that you like, that fits your need and your platform, and being able to edit and translate those, getting those good screenshots and translating it and editing it to put it onto social. So those are probably the biggest hacks and struggles, I think, for a lot of consolers.
Well, thank you, Sass. I totally agree. And I didn't even think of that, to be super honest with you, but I had no idea that the camera was so like free. There are, like, I now know there are like the cinematic cameras, and I can like go a little bit more differently, but I couldn't even imagine like being able to like zoom and see eyeballs. Like I couldn't, it would just it would just be like creepy as hell. Or like, especially when it's like first person and you're like in a pose or something, and it's like creepy as hell because it's not how the pose was supposed to look. But
you can go like all the way out to the edge of the map where it's just like it's
nothing.
Weird.
Yeah, I love doing that.
Yeah, so like you can go out to the edge of like I think San Myshuno's maybe the funniest one, because you have all these skyscrapers that look 3D, and then once you get to the edge, you realize that they're just like flat. And then there's just like nothingness.
Squares.
Yeah.
I love
it's
doing
kind of funny.
It is.
That's so fun. I again fucking blow my mind this morning, ladies. I got a couple more questions for you, and I'm gonna let you guys go because you have a child to take care of. You're on a road trip. I'm just gonna get drunk later. I'm going to Oktoberfest tonight, so that's literally my plan. Yeah,
nice.
So I touched upon this at the top of this, that I feel like EA has forgotten about console players. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, so when I started my Instagram kind of like around when that Sparks competition was on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I like really enjoyed that. But I at the same time I felt like I think throughout the years and now as they're getting back to it after COVID, I wonder if like in the future they will um let console players into the creator network, because I don't know if there are any.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be amazing.
You
Um
think there would be?
Oh
because
yeah.
you know, to have at least, you know, like one, two, like maybe three, like at least one or two in each area, you know, like creative sim, storyteller, builder, that could come to the conferences with the PC players, um and explain, or you know, have them. I think it would help EA really. Like
Yeah.
I think it would help their sales of the game if they had console players come and be a part of the creator network, because it would show other people that you can do the same things on console as you can on PC, and they would
Yeah.
sell more versions of the console
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mhm.
Because I mean,
Preach.
PC people are going to continue to buy the Sims. That's not going away.
No.
um but people who don't have a PC or who don't want to play on PC, or just, you know, they gave it out. I think what got a lot of people into it on console was if you had PlayStation Plus, it was free 1 month,
Mhm.
before it just became free. So
Mhm.
like a couple years ago, you could download it for free if you're a PlayStation Plus member. And I think that got some people, like I know it got a couple of my friends into it, and like I would help them learn how to build and stuff like that. But yeah, I think if they let, or if they offered console players to come, you know, and be a part of the creator network, that would like be helpful for like other
Mhm.
people too. And then
Mm-hmm.
also, the game didn't get released for console 5 years, 5 years after the original Sims
Yeah,
4, I believe.
I think so.
So, and I know that was just like logistical things. Like they didn't make it to be, they just didn't have everything worked out, I guess you could say. But I hope that when they release the Sims 5, they release the console stuff at the same time. Because before, when they released the Sims 4 for console, we got the packs filtered like
Mm-hmm.
slowly over time. So it was just the base game for like a little bit, and then they slowly released the old packs to us over time. And then by, I can't remember what pack it was, um, but by like 2 or 3 years ago, they finally got them even. So now we get them at the same time.
Okay.
Um, but in the beginning, you didn't. Like we had to wait a little bit to get the pack, the same pack as everybody else. But now, that they haven't been doing that, I hope that they release the Sims 5 at the same time. Like if they don't, I'd be a little upset by that. Because like you have all these people who play console now, and we are used to having the game released at the same time. But then if they go back,
Yeah.
and they're not able to give us the Sims 5 at the same time as the PC Sims 5, I think that's
Yeah,
not
that
going to be good.
sucks.
But
Yeah.
You're like literally like my mind is getting blown. I know EA is releasing it to like the Sims 4 base game to be free. If I was on their marketing team, I would say, okay, we need to have console players. Like we need to get some console players in the room, show them what it's like to play on console, because now the base game is going to be free.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
I
yeah,
feel
getting
like
more
it's going to
people.
be more accessible now to consolers now that it is going to be free. And I feel like that's going to bring a huge draw from the console perspective on to the game. And I feel like there's going to be a lot more interest now that it's free. coming in for EA. And to be the devil's advocate, like recently there was that massive, I don't know if TattooedSimmer like encountered it, but I did recently with that last update. I had a massive console glitch where I couldn't even access any of my game packs or anything. So give a shout. I did have to make things. So I'm pretty happy about that. But I do feel in a way that consolers are by like having these kits. Having the kits now, it brings a lot more to our, it enriches. It can download all of these things, and for if you're playing vanilla console you can't, and so you just have to wait. So having these kits, I know everybody gripes about kits, but honestly for a consoler I love the kits because that's new stuff, that's new CC for us. So that's my way of, that's my devil's advocate soapbox as far as like, you know, not, I can't begrudge EA on that part. I know they're trying to make money. And from a marketing perspective, I totally get it. And I think it's brilliant, but also at the same time, like,
no,
it does enrich our game for sure.
No, absolutely. Because I was going to say, like, as a PC player, kits annoy me because they're expensive as hell. And they have like, they add 3 things to your game. But I could just be like, fantastic. Need baking cake, Sims 4, CC, go. And I can get whatever I want, right? So it's more, kits are more meant for you guys. I think what kills me is that they're not free for console players.
Right.
Make them free for console players, make PC players pay for them. I think that is how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only like with the kits is that I don't play that much, right? So
yeah,
I don't have any of the
gameplay kits, or just
or the fashion kits, because I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I like them because I don't care about the clothes. I don't care about any of that. So if they, you know, and I get that they would never do that because there's gameplay involved in everything. But if it went to a way where it was like, there are, you know, these are ones for clothes, these are ones for gameplay, these are ones for building, like I would exclusively only buy the building ones because that's all I care about. So like that's
and I would exclusively buy all of them because I do
right. And so I like it in that sense because then I don't have to pay extra money for stuff that I don't want. So like I'm trying to think of a pack that I like, an expansion pack that I really don't use a lot. Like there's just some furniture from the expansion packs even that are limited. Like some expansion packs I felt like are super geared toward, like even the high school one, the last one.
Yeah.
Like there are some things that I like about the build part of the high school pack, but that was really like gameplay oriented and creative sim heavy, I felt like. So like if they had just an art deco build pack, I would buy that over the whole high school pack, if that makes sense, just because I just don't play gameplay that much. But that's just a personal thing, really. All I really want them that was my last post yesterday. I think I just really need a triangle window. I need EA to give me a triangle window without CC, because I like there isn't one, and I don't understand why we only have square windows. Like, but I can't go download a CC triangle window, and there's like really no way to make one. So because you can't rotate windows at all. But yeah, that's like my only issue right now.
I totally commented on that. I was like, preach.
Yeah.
On that triangle window, that would be amazing. I was right there with you on that soapbox.
See, I forget how spoiled PC players are, because it's like, yeah, triangle windows. I just downloaded a CC kit that had them in there. But again, like I feel like EA should not be forgetting about console players, which leads me to my last question. EA doesn't listen to these things. I don't think they ever will because I bash them all the time. But if they ever decide to do, what do you hope that The Sims 5 will offer for console players?
Like
Sassmouth.
I said, I just hope that it comes out at the same time.
That's it?
Like
Nothing else? Nothing, like I'm talking, this is fantasy world. You could put whatever you wanted in The Sims 5.
okay, I
Anything.
guess
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I've just lived in my like console world so long. But yeah, I maybe the ability to like I just don't I am not electronically inclined enough to understand how like the processing works for
Okay.
it. But if I were able to share entire save files, I would love to be able to do that.
Okay.
Like if there was a way, even if it's just for console players, like I would be okay with that because I feel like PC players have so many of themselves anyways.
Mm-hmm.
That if I was able as a console player to create a file to upload on the internet that people could download for their
Okay.
for
I have to give a
their
shout out to that
console, like
too.
if they could without having to do the whole thing, but I don't know if that's possible, you know, like I don't I I don't know how any of that works, but yeah, that's like me not being able to share save files completely is held me back from like hosting collabs and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
or getting on Patreon or anything like that, just because
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I could like offer anything in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's probably my only thing.
Okay.
I have to lean on that too because I like skip out on a lot of collabs I would love to participate in, or you're not allowed to participate in because you're on console, but because the you're not being able to share your tray files. So that would be a really good shout because I feel like you could be a lot more inclusive in the community as far as like being able to participate with your other fellow simmers. So yeah, I totally agree on that. That would be really nice instead of having to give up like, well, here's I'm on having to tell somebody like, well, here's all my disclaimers. I'm on console. Here's my ID. Can you upload it? Can you capture it and then reload it back to me? And it's a lot of back and forth, when you're trying to collab and then being able to, miss collabs because you can't participate or host a collab because you can't participate. So that would be nice.
Okay. Hey, again, EA, you listeners, please let the console players upload their work. Like
We
like
just want to be seen.
they just want to be seen. Like the rest
That
of
was like that the biggest day for me was when they made the gallery for everybody. I don't know if you knew that. We didn't used to have the gallery.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so
What?
when I think that's only been 3 years, 2 or 3 years. But yeah, originally it wasn't because a lot of games recently just became cross-platform. Like you could play Call of Duty or whatever with people on PC when you're on the console. Like that just recently became a thing. And so when it wasn't before that, it wasn't cross-platform. So because we were on console, we didn't have access to the gallery. And that was hard for a lot of console simmers because they had to build their own houses or they had to live with the ones that were in the game by EA already. Yeah, and so that was a huge struggle, and then they gave us the ability to have access to the gallery, which was huge, because like that's why I started an Instagram initially, was to like share, because I had a few followers, on the gallery before when I played on PC, but then I was just sad because I wasn't able to upload things or share things with people at all. So I made my Instagram, and then it was like a little bit after that when they made like the gallery available to everyone. But yeah, that was the worst part of it in the beginning. Was that you couldn't download anything from it, so I couldn't participate in collabs at all at first because I didn't have Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
didn't have a
imagine
gallery.
playing without gallery, because gallery for
Yeah.
me is like lifesaver. Because I could, because I pick up so many different things like builds and sometimes secondary sims or things like that. So I could not imagine. So the 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 progress, I guess, that has come so far
Yeah,
for
like they
consoles
really
is
have.
real. I hope they continue that.
Me
Yeah, like I
too.
just hope that they make the Sims 5. Like they don't have to add all those things in like they did with the Sims 4. Like the Sims
It
4 is
just
very
comes day
basic on
one kind
console.
of idea,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. At the same
Yeah.
time as PCers, so like I have to say that Tattoo Simmer's right on that. Like I would be upset if it gets released to PC and then not us consolers, because that makes it even more like we're in the dark shadows and just feeling really
Behind.
crappy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the black sheep of the community.
Yeah.
Again, my brain is just being like, this is why I wanted to do this, for PC players to listen to this and know what the other side of the coin looks like. Which leads me, console players, what do you want us PC players to know? What's your final last little bit?
I'm glad that I'm glad that you guys look at my builds and think that they're crazy because I play on console, but I guess I just want people to know that it is the same. Like they've done a pretty good job at making it the same for us. Like I said, there were things in the beginning that we didn't have, but they've worked it out and figured it out. But I think I just want them to know that like we enjoy the same game. It is the same game. Like we can do the same stuff. I remember in the last season of the Builder games, everybody was just struggling so hard because they weren't allowed to use tool mod because of the console players, the couple of us that were in there. And I was like, you guys are making me feel like I'm at an advantage because I've never had
Right.
that. And so I've had to learn how to make things look different. Just on my own. Like the last couple of community lots that I've built, like my finale piece for the Builder games, I made like that hot air balloon that floated above, and you just have to like learn different tricks to get around tool mod. So I feel like maybe PC players are a little privileged, and they haven't had to learn as many tricks because you can just download a mod to fix it, or you can download CC to make it look like something. You don't have to take pieces of things and manipulate them in a way that makes them look different, so you're not always looking at the same stuff.
Yeah, we have to go through the struggle, like the struggle that all the PC players like scream about. We have to endure that struggle and go through it. And yes, I get we choose to do that, but and some people can't because of lifestyle circumstances or financial circumstances, but we just want to be seen and feel valid in the community. So and especially even as a storyteller, because there's also all these elaborate stories that can really be decked out and trying to put your stuff out there in amongst those really lavish PC stories. I guess just being seen and being validated, as a console player, and because we're playing vanilla, and I guess our struggle of setting up and presenting it in the same way flawlessly to appear as if we're not on console. Like it's a lot of hard work, and so being seen and validated for that from PC players is really important to us, and it's everything. And so when I hear like comments like that from PCers, like, oh, I didn't even know you're on console, like that just means the world to us. That's just so validating. It's like we're being seen, and nobody knows the difference, and it's really nice. And also one more shout is stop telling us you should download CC or mods for that, because we can't. Like I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
I think it's because they can't tell that I'm on console, but I'm like, I can't download CC or mods for that, so I can't do that. So it is what it is. But yeah. I see that though on Twitter like all the time. Like I follow a lot of consolers on Twitter, and so I see like they'll post something and somebody will be like, "Oh, well, you can download CC or mods for that," and I'm just
I guess I think I got bullied by PC players into being a better photo editor. Because when I first started sharing my builds, I didn't even know how to take screenshots on my PlayStation. So I would just take a picture of my phone screen, and I got so bullied. So bullied for it being so grainy. And then they're like, "What? You don't even know how to take a screenshot?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm on console." And they're like, "You can still take screenshots on console. Look it up." I was like, "Okay." So so I like looked up how to take screenshots.
The bullying is real.
So I looked up how to take screenshots on console, how to download them from the PlayStation onto my phone, and then how to I had to like find a whole, like I said, at first I would just edit them on Instagram, but that was people on Instagram. I'll have to say Instagram is the nicest of all the communities.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
But like the people on Instagram don't do that. It's like Reddit or Facebook or
Twitter
like that.
Twitter is the worst. Yeah.
See, I'm not a dumpster fire
because I it's not my jam. But
Stop bullying us.
So yeah, I got bullied into being a better photo editor, I feel like, because people are always like, "This looks like trash," and I was like, okay. It was mainly Reddit. It was mainly Reddit, but
Twitter's just as bad. Yeah, just stop bullying us for what we're trying. And getting a good screenshot is probably like 99% of the whole. Everything else you can just throw out the window as long as you get that good screenshot. It's key.
Oh my god. Well, guys, I feel like this is like the saddest spot to end it, because I've never ended a podcast being like, we're bullied.
Sorry.
It's okay. Hey, but again, this is why I wanted to do this, to bring you guys to the table so we can listen to you and listen to what it's like on the other side. I had no idea. I'm just in my like little cozy PC world where I'm like, I just take screenshots and we're good to go. And I just throw them through Photoshop and edit the shit out of them. But like, again, I had no idea of the tribulations of what it's like to be a console player. And this is why I wanted to do this morning. So I want to thank Sassmouth and TattooedSimmer for being here today. Why don't we just do one more final round of where we can find your amazing work? Sassmouth, we'll let you go first.
Sure. I'm mostly on Instagram. Or Simstagram. That's where I live mainly. Sassmouth Simmer, and then you can also catch my other accounts, Sassmouth Origin, and also I have a spam account too, same name, Sassmouth Spam. I'm also on Twitter. Don't come to bully me or come at me. It's the same handle, Sassmouth Simmer. You can pretty much find me there all across those platforms at that same name. So I would really love to see y'all there. It's a safe space and always positive. So thanks.
Oh my god, Sass, it's so true. I also, if anyone ever bullies you on Twitter, you tell me their name. I will make them regret their life choices. They have not come across a Stassi when they bully my friend.
I'm not gonna prolong the toxicity.
I TattooedSimmer. Where can we find your work?
You can find me on Instagram. That's pretty much primarily where I am. TattooedSimmer on Instagram. I try and upload something every day. And then I also have a YouTube page I'm trying to get started, TattooedSimmer, same handle, and a Twitch page I'm trying to get started to teach console players or just PC players who want to watch console players. And it's the same at TattooedSimmer on there. So I'm going to try and get a stream going every Wednesday evening to help get console players on the map a little bit more. So yeah.
TattooedSimmer, thank you so much for being here. Sassmouth, thank you so much for being here today. Please go check out these lovely ladies. They're absolutely phenomenal. Sassmouth, like always, your story is phenomenal. Fucking love tuning in. TattooedSimmer, congratulations for making it so far in season 2 of building games. I'm so excited to see you in season 3. This podcast does drop the first week of November, so the first challenge will be out, and I know what the first challenge is, so I'm very excited to see what you do for the first challenge. I can't give you any spoilers.
I just got invited to the Discord today, so I'm gonna have to go in there and look at the shell and see what's going on for that. So I'm really excited to be back again, because Juby is just like one of the most fantastic, like sweetest simmers too. So love always working with her too. So
she is like a darling, sweet baby. I'm so excited. So like my next podcast is with her, and we're gonna talk about builders. So
awesome.
It's that we're both Canadians. We both like shout each other out and stuff. So like, yes. But anyways, guys, absolute pleasure. Please go check out my girls. Absolutely phenomenal. And again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Of course.